Hello, welcome to the Upset Podcast. This evening, we are talking about the Upsetters Goal Report Card coming up next. Hello again. Welcome back to the Upset Podcast. We're so happy that you tuned in on this New Year's Eve to party with us on the Upset Podcast. And who's here for the party? These wonderful people here.
Happy New Year!
The party animals.
Look at the tally to bring the drinks.
Like streamers or something.
Wait. Did I say bring the drinks? How about bring something to drink?
Bring your own beverage.
Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year's Eve, guys.
Happy New Year's.
Thank you.
On the brink.
It's been
2023.
Wonderful.
I mean, in my mind, I feel like Christmas hasn't even gotten here yet. And it's already New Year's. Wow. Yeah.
I know. Another year is a
Time flies, Tally. Time flies.
It do.
And it waits for no
It
one.
do.
It be.
And as Adventists like to say, it's really already the new year.
Yeah.
Because the sun is set.
Yeah. You know what always amazes me when people say, I can't wait for Christmas, and then they do.
Because they have no choice.
Yeah, you know.
So, right? I know. Well, as we are on the brink of a new year, we may recall that at the beginning of this year, 2023,
Mm-hmm.
the Upsetters here, we were brave enough to share what some of our goals for 2023 would be with the world, knowing full well they could hold us accountable for everything that we said live on the Upset Podcast. And now the time of reckoning now.
Judgment Day. Yeah.
Now we've reached that point where we have to answer whether or not we did or accomplished the things that we said we would do. Are you guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Well,
Probably not.
well, Tally, as you guys recall, he didn't start 2023 off right because he was not with us when
That was my resolution. Find better friends.
Did it work?
We'll see how you're doing. Oh, we'll see. We'll see how he's doing.
Yeah, this was from the episode. I think it was set real goals, because at the beginning of the year, we always put on these lofty things that we're going to accomplish, knowing full well that it's not even going to happen. And so if you want to go back and look at that full episode, you
She
can
said
do
it's
it.
not gonna happen.
Not
You mean
gonna
it
happen.
might not happen. She's like, it's not.
Some of those lofty ones.
We're here tonight to prove just that. Mhm.
But yeah, Tally wasn't here though, Tally. But we thought about you. See, look at this.
I'm glad that we have the opportunity of coming together. I miss Tally because
Yeah.
is whatever Tally would end up talk about would bring us to another level. But
Yeah, he's an upsetter.
He is a true upsetter.
Lord. Someone as congenial and cooperative as I. It's nice to be thought about, guys. I really
I'm
appreciate you
glad
guys.
that you are speaking those things that are not as if they were. That's great. Great
Yeah.
exercise of the
It's-
scriptures. Great.
What a horrible mangling of the text that was.
Tally is known for those things that make you go, hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Wait till I get to Sabbath school. Sure.
All right. Who's ready to get their grade going? Now, of course, let's set this up. So we're going to play a clip from something that you said that you wanted to accomplish in 2023. And then we want each person to grade themselves A through F. Let's just use the standard. But before we do that, though, Tally, Since you weren't with us, I'm sure you had some goals that you set that you would have shared. Can you kind of just tell us
Yeah.
what you said?
Well, let's see. There was one that I need not share at this point, but one of the other ones goals that I shared. This is something that people don't know about me, and that is that I struggle with a diminished sense of self-worth. I mean, I really struggle with that to the extent that many times I will absent myself because I feel like I'm really not worth it. And if I show up and I succeed, then that just sets me up for future failure because you won't be able to sustain it.
Oh.
And then if I fail, then of course that will prove it. And so I just absent myself. I back away from things. And
as your colleague and your friend, it is the absolute opposite.
Yeah,
I love that. Charles, look, and I owe so much to, over the years to Charles, just from his example. I mean, watching Charles do radio is what drew me to radio. Watching his love for music is what drew me into believing, okay, maybe I could do music. So coming from you, man, that makes me almost want to cry. But this year I decided that I would get out of my way so that God could have full use of whatever capacities others might think that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been really trying to advocate for and represent myself in a way that allows me to step into areas where God can have better use for me. But you still hear the tapes playing in the background, but you're able to move beyond it. And it's hard to be in your 60s, your latter 60s, and to realize you're still struggling with the ghosts from your childhood. I mean, it wounded Pat so much that he just left just now.
Yeah, I was like, speaking of ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, so
Callie,
it is.
Have you had counseling about that?
Oh yeah. I stopped going though because I didn't think I was worth it. No, I'm only kidding. I didn't know, but I remember going through counseling about that and realizing a lot of times you're angry at people and you realize that the anger is displaced because what it really is you expected them to do things for you to allow you to feel worth it, but they never can. So you hold them responsible for your own lack. And there's nothing worse than struggling with self-worth when other people think
He's back.
that you're doing so well.
Yeah.
Because then you get what's called imposter syndrome. And I've wrestled with this all of my life. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. And this year, because I finally, I retired from everything. I retired from radio. And the reason I retired from radio is because they did something that reflected a lack of value in my contribution. And I said, I'm not going to allow you to do that to me. And I stepped away from it.
Good.
So.
Good.
Yeah, it is surprising. I mean, you said it right. It's surprising to hear that, Tally, because, we were always talking about Tally. Like, you don't present that to others, even though you may feel it.
Yeah, it's getting to the point when you're not on the show. We say, what would Tally think?
Yeah, we value you so much. The thought that
Tally don't think, I mean, a lot of what comes across as humility and self-deprecation is my attempt to, and the fact that, and when Pat leaves me all the time like that, that just increases the diminished sense of self-worth. But, the self-deprecation, the joking, being humorous about, well, I'm not this, I'm not that, is my way of putting a happy face on it. But it is a real struggle. And I have self-sabotaged many times in my life. One of the times that I remember most was when I first went on the radio. They decided to syndicate my broadcast in Pittsburgh without telling me. I found out when somebody from Pittsburgh said, I heard your show. And I said, this was before the days of internet radio. And they said, you're on in Pittsburgh. And I called the owner of the station and talked them out of it. Explained to them why it wasn't a good idea for me to be on in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. And there's an old saying, and I'll clean it up a little bit for this broadcast. The higher the monkey climbs, the more you see his rear end.
Mm.
And for me, any further exposure simply meant a higher platform from which I could fall and crash and burn. And so I would often sabotage myself so that I would not be in a position where my failure could be more spectacular, because I knew I was going to fail.
Wow.
You know, Ty, I
I think
appreciate
that
you sharing this, though,
we
because
unfortunately look for validation from other people
Yeah.
where we recognize ourselves. And when other people don't recognize you or appreciate what you do, or at least they don't show it, we tend to take the hit for it, the blame. You know, they're not responding. They're not. Welcome back, Pat.
Yeah, this is what happens when the report card is sent home. When your report card is sent home, you try to intercept it.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you that your contribution to this show is priceless,
invaluable. Yeah.
I look forward to your comments and your humor. So you have a very nice way of dropping humor right in the middle of a serious topic. So we're all have this serious grimace face, and then all of a sudden we're all bursting out into laughter.
I appreciate it. It is, you know, and I've discovered that, and now Tasha's frozen, but
I don't know why. I'm stuck in time.
She like girlfriend, I'm gonna get you told right now. The image right there, you know.
Yeah, that's what it is. Are you
got a little Chip and Dale expression on your face there, Tasha? You know, but one of the things I found is that those who struggle with self-worth, you will never be able to do enough to allow them to feel worthy. And what will happen is, if they don't embrace that this is their struggle, they will begin to find ways to say, yeah, you didn't value me enough. That's why I left. And I did that. I mean, with churches, with the conference, and a lot of it was my own struggle, and being able to own it, embrace it, and in spite of the tapes that play in your head, to move beyond it has been liberating for me this year. But enough about that. I want to hear how y'all messed up.
Well, we've got to get internet for Latasha.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me still?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you, but
okay.
You have on your face.
This is an example. You should be heard and not seen. You guys haven't heard that before. All right, so we're gonna keep it moving until I decide to pop back up. I don't really know what's happening here, but yeah. Who's ready to face the music next? Let's see.
I'll get it over with. I'll go first. As the youngest, I will lead by example.
All right, GP, here are some of the things you said.
So I have about 3 books inside of me, and I got to get them out.
Oh, you're going to write a book.
All right.
I need to finish one. I have 3 already. They're just in me. I need to execute.
It's in you too, GP. The words, the wording, it's just in you.
Yeah. We don't like it.
So I have to start with one. I said that. Well, I am happy to report that I have written 1 book.
Very good.
Congratulations, Jeep.
It's not out for sale or distribution, but it is complete. And I'm going to work on the other 2 before I turn 37 in August. Can you tell us the title and the topic? Oh, I can tell you the title. The title is It's Time to Change, and it's a book about transition from the perspective of a toddler.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought it was about baby diapers when you said it.
It talks about that in the book. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can see how moved Tasha is by the book.
I know, right? It's all over my face, you guys.
Yeah.
But that book was inspired by you know who it was inspired by, my daughter Elizabeth Grace. But my other 2 books that I'm working on are a little more serious, but I did execute, and I completed 1 of the 3, and so I'm proud of myself for executing and completing 1 book in 2023.
Yes, you did.
Congratulations, man! Congratulations!
Thank you.
You to give yourself a grade? Was there a grade?
Oh, I would give myself a C+.
Give
because
yourself a B, man.
okay, B minus, because I
Minus,
did
yeah.
say I would write 3 books, and so
Oh,
I only wrote 1, and so I did not
Yeah,
follow
but
through on my initial
well, GP,
goal.
you see what the problem is. I mean, you said that first book was inspired by your daughter, and now you got 2 other books, which means you got to have 2 other children to come.
That makes complete sense.
Oh, look.
That's not bad, GP. We're proud of you.
I'm waiting to see Jackie go flying across the room with her hands around his throat.
Yes, I'm proud of myself also, but I will do better in 2024.
Congratulations, man.
Congrats.
Yeah, we're really happy for you. That's great. B minus, not so bad, not so bad. So who's up next?
Lord.
all right, I'll go.
Okay,
I'll
spin
go
the
after
wheel.
I'm the next youngest.
All right,
How
Marlena.
y'all found that to be funny? I don't.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's hear what you said.
Great goal. Marlena, we on to you.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm here.
Well,
So
go ahead.
so I'm always I'm very driven passionately with my work. So there's a lot I want to do with my church and really just grow the family, grow the ministry, grow our outreach and what we're doing. The reason I went back to school was to do this ministry that God had given me maybe a few years ago when I was at my previous district, and it is to help broken women in bad pregnancies and families of domestic violence. And we have a building.
Sound like a dissertation.
God's blessed us with 4 buildings, and one is a smaller house. And so the plan is to really fix that house up very nicely. I mean, it's when I say fix it, we're going to decorate it to make it appealing, to women so that we can meet with them privately, in the building, maybe once a week or something like that, and provide, excuse me, guys, counseling and support.
Right.
That's noble aspiration.
Yeah, notice I had no personal goals of myself, and I was thinking I should have had personal goals there. But you're always fearful of, oh man, dropping the ball with your own personal goals. But with my work goals, I think we did pretty good. We did a lot at church, a lot of renovation, and we celebrated our 55th year of being in 55th plus, actually being in ministry, but 55 years at the church. And we did a lot of transformation there. Our ministries have been growing, especially our outreach. We partnered with a couple other churches in doing our outreach, especially in Kensington. We go there once a month and take care of the homeless. There's a really pretty good ministry we have there, as well as a couple other communities that are lower income. We take food and clothing and those kind of things to them. And so it has really grown. It has gotten much bigger. People are excited about our church and how it looks. And very thankful to God. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. The one thing I did not start yet was the program for troubled pregnancies. In much discussion about it, but because of school plans and things like that, I did not get to get it started because I have to do a lot of groundwork in meeting with other agencies that are out there that are helping women in bad pregnancies, and kind of meeting with them, finding out what they do, and then we will establish some of what they do not do so that we can partner with them. I also have to meet with some city officials, just to kind of put our program out there and hopefully get some exposure that way. And I understood they might even help with some financial grants, and things like that to help the program. So there's a lot of footwork that has been done, like on paper, but not in action. So I would say we're establishing the action plan for that, which is definitely coming next year because that's my my year where I started a lot of my writing in my program. But so I would say I would give myself a C. I'm very proud of the things that we have accomplished at church. Church is growing, not as much as I like to see it growing, but it is. I'm one, I love evangelism, and so there's much more to be done, and getting the church, on board, understanding the necessity of evangelism, and we're coming along. We're getting better there.
Well,
Marlena,
Marlena, I object to your grade.
You
I
do?
think your grade is at least a B
Wow.
because you're consistent.
mm,
You're very community oriented. There are a lot of people out there that are their lives have been changed by your efforts.
Yep.
mhm,
So I give
It's
it a
true.
qualified
Yeah.
B, maybe even higher. So
That is
Yeah.
true. And if I may share, because you starred me or caused me to think about a phone call that I received. We were we go to Kensington, and us who are in the area know that it's a highly drug infested community. Very, very nice people, right? That we meet on the streets. And
mm,
one of my members met a young man who was on the street and prayed for him. And he says, "Would you like to make a phone call?" And he says, "Yes, I'll call my mother." So he calls
mm,
his mother, and they reconnect. All right. And so the mother was so grateful to my church member that did that she called to thank him for our ministry and being out there. And then she wanted to speak to me. So she called me, and we spoke at length. And she says, "You don't understand what your church is doing out there." She said, "There's a group of us women who are praying to hear from our children who are, out there and on drugs or whatever. And
That's amazing.
we lose
it
contact
is.
with them."
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
says, "You're not just saving one life, you're saving families." So she said,
Mm,
"I want you to know how important your ministry is, and I thank you for that." And she says, "I know that it's dangerous, territory, but," she says, "we appreciate that." I mean, I was so moved
mm,
by her conversation, because it was almost, how when you're doing something right for God, I mean, some people feel
mm,
it's not the safest community, and that's true. But we expect and trust that God will take care of us while we're out there, and we're out there doing sunlight. It's not
Oh,
dark
yeah.
hours, and the police are out there. So we feel
hmm
pretty safe. And I mean, you see the people they're shooting
mhm,
up right in
mhm.
front of
Right
you.
there. Yeah.
Their mind concepts are down, because many of you know, as a physical therapist, I'm still practicing a little bit on the side. And one of the hospitals I work for is a rehabilitation hospital for alcohol and drug
Mm,
addiction, as
Mm.
well as those who have mental illness and are suicidal. And some of the same people that are my patients will say, "I was out there, and I
Wow.
might have seen you guys,
Right.
And so we take them lunches. I say, if it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or turkey and cheese, that was probably us, because we give them sack lunches, and
hmm
then clothing too, to stay warm. And many of them share with me that they want to come off, but the
mm,
drugs, when they go through the withdrawal, the withdrawals make them sicker,
Mm,
than the drug symptoms
mhm,
themselves. And so they said they're like forced to go back on. And so they're in the hospital to be detoxed. But,
mm,
talking with them in hindsight, many of them, I mean, some still battle with it, and they go out and they go back on the streets, and soon they're back in the hospital. And I see them, I mean, they've lost hands and
Mm.
feet,
mm,
because they start injecting when the veins collapse in the wrist
Yeah.
and elbow. They start to use the vessels in the hands. So you
Wow.
see them coming in with huge hands, because the infection is all over.
mm,
And when they are sober, they're able to understand. So when we're out there on the streets, it's hard for them to understand because of the drug addiction and how it has them
mm,
so, captivated at that time. And so I asked the lady if she would come to my church. She lives more towards Pittsburgh. and she was willing to come to my church to give her testimony. Since then, we've talked about her. She's had so many other challenges. Let's just do it on Zoom, and have you present live on our Zoom platform. And so she's going to do that. But she says, I just want your church to know how effective that ministry is and to never stop doing it.
Amen.
Well, Marlena, going by the grading metaphor, I think your extra credit puts you up to an A.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And I did make a note to do maybe to do a show on addiction. Let's talk about it because what you shared was.
And it's funny because one of my patients, he had such an excellent testimony. I said, when you are discharged, I said, at some point I want you to come to my church and share your testimony, because I want people to understand that we're trying to reach people out in the community who are really broken. I don't want, just transfers, from one church to another, whether it's a Sunday church to a Saturday church. But if we can meet, people who are really living broken lives, that are exposed, and try to save them. My guy came to my church 2 times and has made his stand to join the church.
Amen.
So, and even though he still struggles, with some things, he really wants to to God and get that straight. And so we haven't, he's coming in by profession of faith. We were supposed to do it and he got sick a couple of weeks ago, but it's still in the plans. But I wanted to say that the interaction that I had with him at the hospital caused him to join my church. Visit the church. And now he is about to join. And I just thank God for that. Even if in one at a time, that's what Jesus did, one at a time.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah. Testimony. Thank you, Marlena. Yep. Well, you earned that A. I don't know about Pat. He's coming up next. Let's see what he said.
It's been a while since I've read the Bible through. Here go Upsetters. Here we go. But then again, sometimes I start in January and end in January.
But maybe
you must be listening to the Bible.
But maybe you have here a little and there a little.
Right.
I realize I have a piece of software, GP, that cost me about $3,000, but I only use one plugin on all of those that I bought. I could have bought that one for $29.99.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a goal. That's one goal that I have. Don't judge me.
Wow.
All right.
Which Bible software program is that, Pat? Which Bible software?
Those are two separate.
No.
One was talking about the Bible.
So both of them, it's not from an A to an F, but I can take an incomplete on one.
Okay. Which one?
Reading the Bible all the way through.
Yeah.
I didn't read the Bible all the way through, so I take an incomplete on that one. Definitely.
You have a few more hours. Sorry.
Just a few.
Well, but really intrigued with the Old Testament, but didn't go all the way through. And as far as the plugins are concerned, I haven't gotten rid of the plugins. I still have them.
You haven't used them.
No. What's a plugin? I mean, when you say it,
so it's like it's basically it's a chain that allows your voice to change, to put vocals to your voice, or those are called plugins. Effects, chain effects, equalizers, all of those type of things. I don't use all of them. Sometimes you could just use one, but so I give myself a
D.
Not even
like, let me help you out.
You said not even a D.
Help me out on that one. Incomplete in the Bible, and that one is definitely going to be a
Z.
Just like our toys. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, well, let's give you a little credit. Did you add to that? Did you add anything else? Okay, well, that's progress.
No,
so you're no longer purchasing things, and you're not going to use software and
definitely not.
Right. So yeah, a little improvement.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Little credit for that. Okay, all right, not too bad. So what did we end up with? What was the grade?
About a D.
You going to take the D?
I'll take the D.
Okay, all right.
It's better than taking an L.
Give yourself a D. You can always go to a C.
Okay.
Any effort you make towards improvement.
We're very generous here.
Well, you read some of the Bible, Pat, didn't you?
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I did.
You get stuck at the book of Begats, don't you?
I'm in the Maccabees right now.
Oh, man, boys reading the Apocrypha. So you got to give it C+, man. If you get to the pseudepigrapha, we'll give you a B-. And man, when you finally wrap the Quran, you're gonna get an A.
Hey, I got you.
There you go. All right. So we have the roadmap for success. All right. Next up, let's hear what Charles had to say.
The goal that I've started has been better self-care.
Oh yes.
Listening to my body. The body is always sending me signals.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning, and
I got a signal this morning too, Chuck. Stay in the bed. That was my signal. Not this morning, but maybe this morning. Some morning, stay in the bed.
Yeah, better self-care, and a couple of those things, because the list could be long. Is of course eating better, and I've already started that months ago, and getting more rest. And being regimented and more methodical about getting in bed on time and getting up. Try not to do late meetings. I've rearranged.
Try not to do what? Hold on.
Huh?
Try not to do what meetings?
That's right.
Late meetings. All
right. So you had quite a list there. Self-care, eating better.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm excited to say that, I'm going to give myself an A because
Go ahead, Charles.
I really took a deep dive in that whole process. And so, time won't allow me to go through all the details, but I kept to, the whole meeting idea. Now, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, I don't take late meetings. I have, even programmed my devices that at a certain time they go do not disturb. So if someone did call or text me, I wouldn't know it till the next morning. Okay. And I figure that if there's an emergency, people know how to get you, if it's an emergency. So for, time management, and when I made that statement, I had not planned an actual schedule. Now I have a schedule. And there are it might seem a bit much, but I tried it and it's working. I have allowed 4 hours of each day for me.
Wow.
Now,
4 hours?
Oh, wow. 4 hours. Boy, that's half the workday. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We give up our me time to accommodate work time. And you keep doing that on a sliding scale. And at the end of the day, you're really hurting yourself. You can flag wave at the office. Hey, I got this done, but what does that do for you? So I scheduled a me time. Actually, I renamed it on my calendar, and it sits on my calendar every day. It's called Reset. So every day I reset.
Nice.
And within that reset time, there are about 8 different things that I make sure I pay attention to, exercise, managing my food, devotional, meditation, all of that. And this is daily.
That's excellent.
That's number one. Number 2, I really did a deep dive into learning more about my body, nutritional science, food science. Because I got to a point in my own personal research and study, and I said, what? There's so much I don't know about me that I should know. I've been living my life, and I think a lot of us live our lives off of these straight statements like drink more water. Okay, great. Why? What does that do to me? You know,
Yeah.
don't do dairy. You know, you know the statements we blurt
Yeah.
out. You know, the Sabbath afternoon dinner or whatever. You know, are you really going to eat that? That kind of thing. So my personal satisfaction could only be met if I deep dive into the food science and nutritional science. There's a science to it. So I needed to know why. Okay. I needed to know more about how my organs work, how it reacts to food, and to deep dive into metabolic syndrome. So this is a daily thing for me now. It is not something, oh, you know, I got to, no, it's second nature now. And I will say that I have followed, you know, pretty much 90% of my setup in my structure. And I think for the new year, part of my New Year's resolution is to continue that and continue educating myself about me and nutrition. And it's worked, you know. And I also know, I also noticed that it helped me with patience. You know, it takes almost a lifetime to get broken, right? That's why our society is built on fast everything, fast food, fast money, fast it, because we want it now. You know, we don't have any patience. But I noticed that when I started changing some lifestyle points, that I had to be patient. You know, I got this way over decades. It's not going to change in a couple of weeks.
Right.
So I gave myself more time, more runway. Okay. And as I did that, the reward was I started to see changes. But they were very gradual. So I learned how to be patient for the gradual and not the immediate result. So
love it.
Man, that's excellent, Charles.
That's amazing. I don't even know where you found 4 hours a day. I don't have.
I'm looking for it.
If you listen to your language, it's the same language I had.
Right.
Oh, I got to find 4. Where can I find 4 hours? Well, I just flipped it. I said, no, 4 hours is mine. I have to find 6 hours.
Work everything else around that.
I mean, it's you have to flip it. Because you'll never be successful in it. You'll keep putting yourself back in the back seat, making yourself. Even if someone calls me and say, well, I'll just reveal my reset time is from 6 to 10 a.m. Okay, that goes into the start of the workday. However, I allow for a little bit of flexibility there. But if someone calls me and says, hey, can we have a meet? Well, yeah, sort of like today. Anyway, so it says, hey, we're going to have a meeting at 8 o'clock or 8:30. You're like, you know what I say? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm scheduled.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll get it back later. Do you like?
Yeah, they are. And I had to be flexible because if an issue comes up that really needed attention,
you have to do it.
I had to succumb to that. However, I never shortchanged myself that time. So if I have to cut into my reset time to accommodate something or help someone else or attend an important meeting, I make up that time. So instead of getting 4 hours of me time, I get 2 hours. Okay. Because I had to cut in for a meeting. Later on that day, I get those other 2 hours.
That's how you do it. Never shortchange.
You influenced me, Charles, because I said I wanted to start listening to my body more, and I have been. But a lot of my friends said that they just don't want to hear my body when I'm listening to it.
I knew something.
So I had to work it out.
Well, Charles, I'm glad you got an A on that part. But
A+.
Remember, I had a goal for you.
Okay. Well, before I share, I do want to say to Charles, I hope one of the self-care goals is for you to take a vacation. That's my goal for you, to go on a vacation.
That's good.
So
that's your goal for me. Okay.
Right. And you know,
you want my Cash App?
I was like, how is she going to obtain that goal for you?
Yeah. Well,
did you take it, Charles?
No, I have to admit, no. I take little, like, what I characterize as mini or micro vacations. I don't do the 2 weeks on a boat thing. You know, I do extended weekends, that kind of thing.
The answer is no.
Well, the traditional vacation, yeah. No, I
A minus.
I hadn't done that, but
A
I
minus.
thought you must have had a vacation because you weren't with us on your birthday weekend. So I thought y'all were celebrating
Well,
away.
He's
you
working.
know, I'm kind of a strange cat when it comes to that sort of thing. You know, I'm a minimalist at heart, and so, you know, I don't. Yeah, we'll do a show on it. If you want to figure out what's going on in my head, but I had to accomplish the things that I talked about. The other things I had to. I had to do it because I felt like, not only because of aging, but I keep succumbing to the Western lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, we've just been told to produce, get up, produce. At this time, go to this meeting, go to that meeting, do this project, whatever. And I was starting to feel like I don't have time. Everybody tells me what to do. I should tell me what to do, and then tell them what I'm doing.
Take control of your life.
Yeah.
You must work for yourself.
Well, I think, you know, even those of us that are in very structured, you know, daily schedules, you almost have to take the mindset of an entrepreneur, like, oh, you know, I have to change my time around and to accommodate, making yourself first. See, that's the key. You're the priority,
Right.
not the job.
That's true.
The job's important.
Well said.
And the job's important for production and progress and all of that. But we often do that sacrificing ourselves. And then, you know, on the final, oh, he was a good guy. Oh, he did all these wonderful. He's a really, you know, I just think we need to just generally take more time for ourselves. And I believe actually it has increased my devotional life and my spiritual life by doing that, because I am saying that sometimes we say without saying, I don't have time for God. Right. Not right now. Maybe later. You know, no, that's part of my reset time. That's part of my reset time.
That's
because I am intentionally making time to do those things that I skim through or skip or, you know, do not so well because I've not allowed myself time. You know, do we do our devotions because we got 2 more minutes before we grab this breakfast sandwich and run to the car? See, that's the kind of lifestyle we live. You know, oh, breakfast this morning, I'll go to McDonald's or something. You know, it's no. You know, oh, it's a matter of food. Now in here, because I wanted to change my diet, I had to learn how to cook certain things, prepare certain things. So part of my reset goal is to eat real food, not ultra processed food. Okay, ultra processed food finds itself in the quick hurry up convenience store kind of thing. But eat real food. In order to eat real food, many times you have to prepare it like a salad, whatever.
You do.
And keep those foods accessible to you, because you can easily make. I'm just talking about myself. I can easily make the excuse like, oh, I don't have any fresh fruit, so let me just go get some orange juice. So it's not the same thing,
right?
You know, orange juice, as healthy as we think it is really just orange sugar. So my own research into that has really had a dramatic effect on my lifestyle. So I think I did a pretty good job. But Natasha, I'm not a traditional vacationist. My family is. My wife is.
I know.
And there are times when we will go together. We have a date night or whatever, and we'll go to concerts and dinners and stuff like that. So,
gotcha.
So I have recreational time. But anyway, I think I deserve an A. But
sucky now.
That's right. Yeah. Give yourself an A. If
you did. You did well. You did well.
That was inspiring for all of us. Thank you for sharing.
It really was.
Going into this new year.
You have challenged me to be intentional, even if it's not 4. If I can get 2, to be. I mean, that's better than nothing. And I love.
And that's daily.
I binge crash on my time. It just. Like right now, just watching my Christmas Hallmark movies, just sitting on. my me time, you know.
Yeah.
And
I learned that it's okay to say no. I learned it's okay to say no because we're such accommodators. Oh, can you help? Yeah. Okay, I'll be, that kind of thing. It's okay to say no. No, I'm sorry. I
can't do that.
And I get away with that no by saying to myself that this request is infringing on the me time. So I can stay without being creating a falsehood. I just said, no, I'm scheduled at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's good because us as pastors, I mean, we have a responsibility as well to be available for others as well as have our me time. And so I think that's really important to make sure we balance the both of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So true. So true. All right. So we gotten some pretty good grades so far. I think I still have honestly, I did forget what I said, but let's see what I said.
So like I started my list the other week, like for personal, I have little things like read 6 books a year this year. Now, in my mind, it's like, I could read 12. I could read 100. I could read 50. I saw someone who said they had to go to 100. I'm like, maybe I should do that. And I said, Tasha, you know the way your life is set up. If you put a goal of reading 100 books this year, you're not going to do it. Just because you heard someone else say it and it felt like a good goal doesn't mean that needs to be your goal. So I said, I'm going to start with 6 books. Because if I can do 6 books this year, next year I can do 12. And then next year I can do 24. You know, you can increase like that 1 tooth, like you were saying, Charles.
Right.
Yes.
And I had self-care on there too, like a self-care day. Now I try to practice self-care daily, but I put on my goal to have a self-care day once a month where it's focused simply on that, whether it's going to get a manicure,
it's an assessment,
a massage, something special outside of maybe what I would do at home. So I'm putting things in there that I probably wouldn't do for myself unless I schedule it. And so, yeah, it's kind of doing things like that. And even financial goals, like, you know, that's one of the areas where I kind of like tried to do too much. And 1 year is like, I'm going to save $20,000 and I'm like, okay, look at your salary.
Wait, you make $20,000.
I had to like scale that back. Now the goal is pay off that last credit card. You know what I mean? Like, let's stick there. Then we can, you know, save the thousands and thousands.
Yep.
So, you know,
Absolutely.
leveling back. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I loved it. I loved it.
See how I started with the list, Sally.
A woman saying, I'm going to have a self-care day, sporting a 6-hour hairdo.
Self-care.
You know,
Sitting there.
I'm going to find me some time.
$500 later.
I know. Right? I know. I'm breaking the
How'd you do with the books?
So the books, I set a goal of 6, right? And I actually hit that at like March. By March, I was like,
wow.
What?
Wow.
So I kept reading.
There must be pamphlets. No way.
She's reading See Jane Run. Run, Jane, run.
Were they pamphlets or cliff notes or what?
But that's the thing. I loved reading once.
Give us a couple of the books that you read.
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Chicka boom boom.
I read Viola Davis' book. That was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Which one?
Viola Davis's book. I read her book. I had a whole list and now I can't remember anything. But I'll share my reading list with you guys. But I read about 9 books.
9.
And I stopped. The only reason I stopped at 9 because I realized I could do 12. Yeah, and that was the thing. Once you start a pattern of something, you realize how easy it is to do because I incorporated it into my routine.
The cat in the hat.
The places you can go.
That's horrible.
She didn't say what kind of books.
I know, right? But no, I read at least 200 plus page books. Like
that's awesome.
And I had a combination of like novels and spiritual books, financial books. I kind of mixed up the genres.
Were any of them ebooks? Were they like electronic?
No, I'm a hardback. I need a book in my hand reader. I don't like Kindle. I'm old fashioned in that way.
I love listening to books.
So yeah, I did that. What was my other goal? Books, self-care. I didn't do the self-care day. I did it for maybe 3-4 months and then I kind of fell off with that. And for the finance, I did pay off that last credit card.
There you go.
And now we're moving on to saving. So to average those 3 things that I said, I probably would give myself a B, because I need to do better with the self-care days. And,
Yeah, all of us do.
And that's why what you were sharing, Charles, was so important, because it reminds
when you said a day out of the month, I cringed. I couldn't do that. It's got to be daily.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For me, it's daily, because then it becomes second nature. It becomes you and your schedule, not somebody else's. So that's why I encourage daily.
We're all challenged in that way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I heard one other person said, well, they wanted to become a vegetarian. I'm not pushing vegetarianism, but I'm just saying, oh, I want to become a vegetarian. So what he does is he eats meatless meals during the week, and only on the weekend he will eat a meal that may have meat in it. And he just continues that to the point where this is his story, he became more accustomed to having meatless meals. Because he only had it on the weekends. So I mean, but he created that for himself. What I'm saying is, you have to structure something that helps you with your own self-care and lifestyle.
I just had an image of a chicken's funeral where they said, "Here lies Chicken Little, who walked across this brother not realizing that it was Saturday."
Oh my goodness.
Monday through Friday, right?
Another chicken on Friday said,
and I will admit that
it could have been me, but God.
Chicken run.
I will admit that it is hard at first to do it on a daily basis, because you find yourself slipping. That's okay to slip, as long as it's the exception than the rule.
Yeah.
I think it almost comes back to what Tally was saying in the beginning about the value you placed on yourself. And sometimes we have to reevaluate. We're always putting ourselves last, or we're always making excuses for why we don't need it, but something else needs to be done. So once we start to understand the value we have, we'll start to prioritize ourselves a little bit more. So guys, overall we did pretty well. I think our average,
I think so.
B
Passing grade.
Sorry that I brought down the average.
One of us wouldn't read the Bible, but otherwise.
This was a group project, and we passed.
We're all in it together.
Yes, that's right. Wishing everyone even more successful 2024. Maybe next year we'll share what our 2024 goals are as we're continuing to level up, guys. Each year we're going to get better and better.
One question. What is one goal that we have for the Upset podcast in 2024?
Oh, that's great.
I'd like to say that we would have on the road shows, at least one a quarter.
Okay.
Upset
on the go. Okay.
Continue enlightenment.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I like to see in the comments, and even people that send us emails, is that it challenges their thinking and their predispositions. Just want to continue to do that.
Just being real.
Well, that I hit the mute button while I'm listening to my body.
That's a good goal. Yeah.
For all of us. And I would say add more voices to the upset.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
To the upset. So we have some exciting things coming in 2024.
Yeah, why do your fingers go like that? What does that mean?
My little pretty.
Like mad scientists,
We're cooking up something, my pretty.
We're gonna take over the world.
Yeah. Upset we're leveling up in 2024. You'll see some new faces, hear some new perspectives. We'll have new topics, and we invite you to be part of that. Our goal is for all of you to continue to put Upset on your calendars every Sunday at 6 p.m. All right.
Yeah. Just like now.
Just like that. All right. What did you say yours, GP?
Oh, I would.
Go ahead.
I'll speak for myself this time. So I would love for us to do like either an upset picnic or an upset gala, like a banquet type thing, where we meet with our family, from Maryland to Virginia to New York,
So would you guys come? You guys hearing this? Would you guys come to a gala?
Let us know if you would come to something like that. It would definitely be a fundraiser.
That would be excellent.
Yeah, we could raise funds for some upsetting situations going on in our sphere.
As we travel to certain places, like if we could go to the different regions, right, with our podcast on the road, right, we would already meet them, interact with them, and they'd be more inclined to come.
Yeah. 2024 and beyond. Now we're putting these goals out there right now. So let's see what happens at the end of 2024 if we actually did these things. But I think we can do it. All right, guys. Well, we're wishing everyone a prosperous and productive new year, 2024.
And safe.
Indeed.
Safe.
Well,
thanks, guys, for another upsetting year.
Always a gift.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Have a safe celebration.
Yeah. All right, guys.